What did that? Young the Tani, La Mission, La Rongajilla, Hugh Tabase, not the language.
So in this way, continuously supplicating through this Guru Yoga practice over and over, it is that way of our kind of responsibility to receive all the blessings.
Tatangasi, Penor Rinpoche, de Topitukana, Saton Gun, Tipper Trivati, Conchosum, Teji Ranzute, Rangi. Tai Lama, Yimbala Tai Lama, Namba Guru Rinpoche, to some Sonji Kundi Daniji, the Yimbala, Yimbarangi, hit on the Majigani, Karijong, Majebachis.
So that at this present life where we have obtained the precious human form, and then our ultimate object of refuge through which we can attain complete enlightenment is that the triple gem, and that the triple gem is manifested or just emanate in form of Guru Padmasambhava. And then as we go through this the supplication prayer with the Guru Yoga, that as is the essential nature is one's root to master, but it always appears in form of Guru Padmasambhava, and not to forget that, and then one engage into this Guru Yoga practice.
Legende Chepartenji Yimbade Orongi Linga Yesum Lijigona Yanao Tene Gishone Shatarvat Korasheba Nyangasheba Lasova Chesudesha Jachimbo Tujevade Liten Chepatin Batangi Yongere Mato Yen Tendo Lasova Sende Yen Tendeji Linet Tentumba Yamaros.
So this is the human form that which is special is because that where we have all this possibility or potential such as our physical body, that we could do all these prostrations and circumambulation and also engage into actual meditation practice and having all this sense of understanding the Dharma, and all those are just because of that human form. Otherwise, if oneself born as an animal, then as we know that they never ever could do any of these kind of practice. So similar like that, the human speech, that as we obtain the human form, and that is why where there is the possibility of where we could engage into this chanting prayers and mantras and all sorts of practices is just because of the human form. So similar like that, our mind as a human mind, that where we have possibility of giving rise to great or small way of generating the bodhicitta or so forth, is also we have this human form. And this, our physical body, is of course, as we know, that which is because of the kindness of the parent. If we don't have a parent, then there is not possible to have this form. So, of course, other beings such as like gods and nagas, and then non-human beings and Gandharvas and so forth, there are a whole bunch of beings who also do have form, but somehow they don't have that capability or just the kind of condition through which that like a human form can engage into this dharma practice.
Lin milite shinto kenyan chimbo yosung re gare tana lin digene gewa sherandra depa sherandra gare yena top chimbo junjur chimbo yosung re.
So this our body itself can be both, which we could have great deal of profit or great deal of loss, is just because if we could to know how to just utilize our this form in a proper way, of course we can accumulate a great deal of merit. And in case if we could not just maintain in that way possible, we could create lots of negative.
Liten ni gone terbi longo dane toya mebaji zonao liten ni gone zon dogres.
So that based on this our present support of the body, that if we kind of just create such kind of negative, that one could not even attain such kind of liberation.
Liten ni gone terwa tanjimba sonje gong do now liten did gane do gres.
And similar like that, on the other hand, that even we wish to attain actual liberation and enlightenment, the Buddhahood, then that is also possible. We can engage into practice through this our present body. Otherwise, if one obtain any other forms like gods and nagas and then gandharvas and all sorts of non-human beings, that whatever their forms are, but they don't have that condition or opportunity that they could attain liberation or enlightenment. So right now we have obtained this special human form, something which is very precious, and at the same time having this great opportunity, being very fortunate to engage into these dharma practices. So one should be very careful that one may not waste it, and try to take the right advantage out of that. So even within the Buddha's teaching, Buddha's Dharma teaching, that of course all based on the outer Patimoksha vows and inner the Bodhisattva vows and secret the Vajrayana vows. Then according to the outer Patimoksha vow, that which to attain enlightenment, it takes like 3 countless eon lifetimes.
Tata songa leo tebar rama mambo yore tata ngase drundwa de songa do di teba doba chembi chekadorwas.
So of course, within this secret mantrayana or the Vajrayana teachings also have many levels of the yana or the vehicles, out of which what we are engaged into the practice is the great perfection, the Tsokpa Chimbo.
Songa ji chekenda nangyo sonje gobon tobale jin rimbo gorgyeres.
Even the other secret mantrayana path, like outer tantras, also just take a long time to attain enlightenment.
Ngase zoba chimbo de gonzo roron so ki nyana seti litigi namche sonje gobon toba totugyeros.
But here, according to the great perfection, that if oneself could be very capable and follow these practice properly, then within this lifetime, that one could attain complete enlightenment.
Chuchi Chedu, Kangar, Nasa, Sidu, Karishano, Zertuba Siguramatunat, Zertu Samaran, the Regmarism, then it's on Matons.
And as one engage into these Dharma practices, of course, whatever sorts of obstacles or problems, hardships or sickness may happen, one have to be very courageous and be patient. One should not be just kind of like impatient as oneself entering into these practices.
Because Gangan Ram, the Karishono, Semki Sano Yabotona, later Tunche Yabot.
So while we are just doing all these Dharma practices, whatever sorts of hardships or difficulties one may just face, actually it is just is a good sign that oneself having the purification of all this karmic obscuration. So in that way, one should understand.
Nasa dungar karishona oda nasa yongi ina leti to karipenge hakomes.
So when we are not involved into these spiritual dharma practices, then still, of course, we experience all those sickness or difficulties, suffering, problems. But that I don't know just if that purifies any kind of karmic obscurations.
Chujikasu, Rangi Sam Kisan no Tang, or Saint Thomas and Gentle Moa Manam Street, or San no Tong Hishena, the letter to Adon, Tarvi Longa, Jachimoti, Pentovier.
So, in relation with the Dharma practice, if we just think properly, whatsoever it may happen, and then if one just do this practice and then the dedicate the merit, and then of course it helps to purify all this karmic obscuration, and at the same time one could to have great deal of accomplishment in relation with these spiritual practices. So those who are engaged into these Dzogchen practices, some are even just months and years, continuously just facing, certain kind of problems. So those all are just, they are purifying their many previous lifetimes karmic obscurations, and then in the future from, just from happy stage to, happier stages that they are, kind of going through, as it is explained in these, Dzogchen texts. So, not having any wrong view, one should, really think and understand it.
Oh, this is that. There is Salunji, Yano, Maruti, Shirodi, Zamoyon teacher, teacher, Tivan, Lord Surrey, they hinted to me on the Shiro to the Nimbari, no years.
So now, today, this morning, for the Talung students have the teaching and instruction, and rest you can just go to your places to practice. And then afternoon 2 o'clock, then there is the out of the Samuyangtik, the outer the elaborated and less elaboration, those impartment already finished. Now this that without any elaboration, the impartment of Samuyangtik will be just there.
Thank you.